Guys, welcome back to another video. Today I wanted to take you through my Oase Styline 85. And before we start this, I just wanted to say, for those of you who've seen my first few videos about watches, there's loads more coming about watches, but I thought I'd incorporate both of my passions, both of my hobbies into the same channel, which is of course keeping aquariums and collecting watches. So today we're going to go over the Oase Styline 85. We're going to go over the equipment that I use with the tank, the stocking of the tank, and also the hardscape and plants that I've used in there as well. So with no further ado, let's get into the video. Okay, so the first place we're going to start is with the equipment in the tank and what I've used for this, because I've changed it up a little bit from what comes stock with the original tank and cabinet. So we'll open up the cabinet and we can take a look at a few of the things that I'm using. So down here I have the Belkin 8-port. I use these because they're waterproof or splash resistant, but mainly what we're doing down here is taking a look at the filter that I've used. So it comes with some internal filter. I never recommend using those on larger community tanks. The biological media that you can put in something like this, which has got 6-7 litre capacity, is going to be far more beneficial than something that's running inside of the tank. This is a Fluval 207. Could have used a 107 with the size, but bigger is always better. That's what she said. And I run it not even close to full. I mean, right now it's probably 20%. If I push this down, it will run at a much faster level, which I just don't simply need on this aquarium. A couple of features I like about the filter. It's not a full review of the 207, but is the fast priming. Basically when I do water changes or clean the filter, it will prime straight away. Just above from that I keep some foods, chemicals, stuff like that. Now not everything in here is used for this tank. Some of the chemicals and foods are used for other tanks that I've got. The air pump has multiple out ports or multiple ports, so you can have different tanks running off the same system. That's what I do. This tank also runs on it. It's got a nice knob just to control how much air you want coming out of it. And then if we check the back, I run a very basic CO2 kit because these are very easy to swap out. And there's no pressurized CO2 system in the room, which I've heard can cause a few problems. A couple of other bits to look at is my fertilizer, some of the foods that I use. One that I really like is the Fluval bug bites, but again, as I said, I'll go over some of this stuff in more detail in other videos. Let's actually get into the tank and see what's going on. Okay, we can come up to the tank now, and one thing you'll notice is the yellow hue behind it. The way I've achieved that is just with LED strips on the back. It's all controlled with Alexa, can control the color, the brightness, and I can also control it on my phone as well. If you come up here, you can see the light bar, and these are really clever. If we go under, you can see that there's 2 strips, and you can replace these really easily. I usually run one in the day. I've got both on right now because I'm filming a video. And once I've got an external filter, so you can't see too much in the tank, there is some equipment you can see. So the CO2 outlet sticks on the back. The input for the filter is there. There's a oxygen stone. And if I just pull this up here, I can change the temperature with the heater. Although I usually keep it stable. And then there's the output for the filter. So that's the, sorry, I might have got that wrong. That's the input, and then obviously that's the output. And that was the thing that I was showing you can change on the filter. And apart from that, there's just something here that I use to clean the glass. They are okay, but every week I actually get inside the tank and do it with brushes and foam pads. Okay, so what hardscape have I used in this tank? Okay, so I've used a mix of white sand and thin pebbles. I find that the different contrast in textures and sizes really benefit the beneficial bacteria, which is really going to help take away a lot of the nasty nutrients in the tank. For rock, I've used red rock. There's so many words here to try and say without making a mistake. But red rock, wood rock, and then natural pebbles as well. And then we can go to the centerpiece, which is built up of redmore wood and alizea root as well. For plants, sort of in the corners and deep inside, I've used a mix of sticky moss, moss balls. We have different Anubias. So I've got Anubias nana, Anubias bacteria, Anubias petite. So different Anubias plants. And I tend to use these in most of my aquascapes. The reason for that is they don't require to be planted into the ground and grow really, really well. I mean, none of this stuff was this size when I got it. And with a little bit of CO2, a little bit of fertilizer, really, really grows well. So what I'm going to do next is sort of take you through some of the animals and fish and invertebrates in this tank, try and get some good clips of them and talk about what's in here. We'll start with a beautiful school of rummy nose tetra. Again, I'm not going to do independent reviews of all these species. Again, I can do that in other videos if people are interested. But I really love these fish. There's a school of 7 of them in here. They have beautiful red faces with sort of a zebra pattern tail. And if you keep them right, they really colour up, and they're quite big fish as well. So the next fish I wanted to show you as he's out, and they're not always out, is this peacock goby. Now it's really hard to focus, but these are nano fish and their colours are absolutely insane if it will focus. Really insane colours. There we go, not a bad video of them, and they're really difficult to film. Now there's a pair of 2 in here. Usually, for me anyway, you won't find them at a local pet shop. I had to order these in. And a disclaimer for anyone that wants to keep peacock gobies or rainbow gudgeons is be very careful if you have a betta in the tank, as most bettas will go for these fish. And talking about a betta, this is Storm, one of my bettas. I have quite a nice collection of bettas. This is Storm. He is a red koi betta, short finned. And I was saying to you earlier how you've got to be careful keeping peacock gobies with these guys. You don't have to be careful with this guy. He's the most calm, peaceful betta. I mean, any other betta in my collection would just go for the peacock gobies, but not this lad. So let's talk about the live bearers in this tank. We have 3 Dalmatian mollies. You can see down here, the pack of 3. We have 3 red swordtails. Now they're called red swordtails, but as you can see, they are bright orange. And then there are 3 guppies. One is a rescue because he only has 1 eye, so I thought just pop him in. And then I have 2 beautiful males. I want to try and find the male with the most colours. Just give me a second. And he's just at the back there, but you can see his tail. I mean, he's a really beautiful fish, this male guppy. Actually my girlfriend's fish, but he's in this tank, and he's a really beautiful specimen. We also have the rainbow neon blue plats that are just swimming through at the moment. So that'll do it for most of the swimming fish. We've got our tetras, our live bearers, our peacock gobies, our betta. But we also have a few bottom dwellers and a few invertebrates in here. So at the back, I can actually see one, and you can't see them all too often, although these guys are much more confident than I was expecting. And these are pygmy cories. I've just been looking around now, filming for about 10 minutes. But some of the fish in here that I wanted to talk about, the invertebrates, are really difficult to find. So we also have 3 emerald catfish, 4 pygmy cories, 5 red cherry shrimp, and then we have a really large bamboo shrimp as well. And that's the full stocking of what's in this tank. Another one of our pygmy cories has come out, so there's actually 2 on the side here. And I don't know if you can see it, but that little piece of red sticking out on top of that leaf is one of the red cherry shrimp. And when I talk about difficult to spot, we have another pygmy cory in the cave. Now, the animals that won't come out are going to be the bamboo shrimp or the emerald catfish. They just don't tend to come out until about nighttime. Sometimes at nighttime I'll see them sitting on a rock, sort of feeding. But apart from that, they are very difficult to spot. And that's my Oase styline 85. A couple of you might mention about the overstocking. I want to talk about that real quick. So there's about 30 specimens in here, and for a Oase styline 75, that's absolutely the max. But effectively, when you've got a really amazing biological beneficial bacteria colony in your filter, it's really heavily planted, you can absolutely do this. I've been keeping fish 12, 13 years, and everyone in here is so happy. The reason for that is you can't even find most of the fish in here. They're all hidden in their own area. On top of that, the water could be there could be 3-4 times the amount of water in here, and the filtration would still manage to keep that clean. So yeah, that's my Oase styline 85. Overall, really happy with it. Obviously, the quality I've come to expect from Oase and ADA, I find them to be the best fish tanks in the world. I do 30% water change on it a week, drain it down about 30%, fill it back up, do the necessary cleaning that's involved. But been very happy with it. It won't be, apart from if the live bearers have babies, nothing else will be added to this tank. But yeah, just wanted to put the first video out there for my fish tanks, and I've got some interesting stuff coming for you guys, including watches and aquariums. If there's anything else you wanted to see, you have any questions, please let me know. Yeah, so thanks so much for watching. Hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.